Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another commentary. I'm Jimmy, and joined by Levi. Levi, say hi to everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going?
It's going well. Well, we're going to watch The Incredibles here in preparation for Incredibles 2. Now, if you want to watch along with us, we're going to sync it up, and we're sitting at the gray screen right after the Pixar screen. So, Levi, are you ready to press play with me on the K of Mark?
Let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1, mark. All right, kind of a grainy film screen here, little throwback. Levi, what do you think of The Incredibles, just overall, as far as Pixar films go?
I mean, as far as Pixar films go, it definitely is the best Pixar film ever.
Whoa, really? Do you believe that?
No. It's nice to say nice things, right? No, I think it's a fantastic film. I absolutely think it's one of the best Pixar films. Absolutely.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's actually my favorite one, and I love this beginning, kind of this throwback, to the, an older style with these heroes back in their heyday, the good old days. And I actually have a few little facts I'm going to try to read throughout, because I want this to be, educational. But Levi, here's a fun fact. Did you know that this was the first Pixar film, and maybe the only one still, besides Incredibles 2, that features all humans, like a full human cast?
Really?
Yeah, because no other Pixar film up until this point had done that. And I don't think we really have had specifically or humans, or humanoids figures and all these things.
Wow, thinking about that, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Because Toy Story is all about toys, cars, planes.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay.
I really love this old school Mr. Incredible suit, by the way. I think it's really good. I love the look of it.
Do you think we're ever going to see this suit again?
Yeah, I think so. I think they I don't know if they've teased it, but I think we'll see it again for sure. And you see that Elastigirl logo, that's the same one that she uses for in those Incredible 2 trailers. You can see that her logo's back. Yeah. Oh, man. This movie, man. So good. I love the music.
So, if you had a ladder, where would this sit on your list of Pixar films?
Top. Number 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Hands down. I don't really
so
like Pixar
why were you so
films.
surprised when I said that, then?
Well, because I thought you were going to pick something like, I love the first 10 minutes of Up, or something like that.
Oh, God, no. That's the most depressing scene ever. You're like, why am I watching this? Why am I bringing my kids to this?
And not to, be like a Debbie Downer or anything, but most Pixar films, I feel like, and I've said this before, they aim to make you cry, and this was the first one I had seen where it doesn't do that. It's a fun movie, and it's intelligent, and it's witty, and it's just really good.
Yeah.
Who do you think made Mr. Incredible's car? Do you think Edna made that? Because he didn't make it. I'm just thinking about
sure
this.
she had a hand in all of it. Let's be real.
Yeah, but I'm just trying, yeah. Oh, man. Definitely would hit this little lady. Levi, that's you trying to get your cat out of the tree. Yeah. This is great.
It's so funny.
Looking at him now after watching a bunch of MCU stuff, he does kind of have this mix between a Captain America, maybe a little bit Superman vibe to the look of Mr. Incredible, which I enjoy.
Oh, the shaking of the tree.
Yeah, just the cat. I love how he makes this work in just the perfect Mr. Incredible way. Instead of trying to be intelligent and try to do this quietly and cleanly, he's I'm just gonna 2 birds, 1 stone. This is how the Arkham games feel to me, Levi. I don't know if you've had a lot of experience with the Batman games, have you?
I haven't, no.
Okay, well, it's there's always another thing. In those games, after you finish something, nothing.
Oh, yeah, they gotta
starts
keep the
up.
story going.
Yeah, but this just is one day for Mr. Incredible. I was talking to somebody recently, actually it wasn't super recently, but it was a little while ago, where they talked about, I said oh, I love The Incredibles, and they're like, yeah, I love how that movie teaches you that, with Buddy here, if you're mean to a kid, you don't know what the ramifications are of that necessarily.
Oh, that's a little
I know, but basically she was saying she enjoyed the fact that, you kind of have to treat kids with respect, because
you never know how it's going to affect them.
You never, yeah.
I'm just looking up here some voice actors. Do you know everybody off the top of your head, Jimmy?
I don't think I know all their names specifically. I know their faces though. give me a softball. Like I know Samuel Jackson is Frozone.
Wow, that's a giver.
Yeah, I forget what's the name of the guy who plays Mr. Incredible.
Let's take a look here. I mean, what a great cast too. Let's talk about that for a sec. It fits all the characters, don't you agree?
Yeah. Well, it's weird because the last superhero film the voice of Elastigirl was in, she was actually the senator from, I think, Kentucky in Batman vs. Superman who dies to Lex Luthor's heinous jar of urine explosion. Yeah.
Only in a
so
Batman
horrible.
film.
Yeah.
Let's see, so... God, I wonder if I... Oh, there we go. Okay, so Craig T. Nelson, we've got from Mr. Incredible.
Yep.
Holly Hunter as Helen. Last
Mhm.
Arrow. Sarah Vowell as Violet. Spencer Fox we've got for Dash. Jason Lee as Buddy Pine.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Lee, why does that sound familiar?
He was in Jay and Silent Bob. He's in Dogma. He's in a few other things.
There you go, yeah.
Yeah. Apparently that's how he got the roles, because Brad Bird, the director, liked his performance in Dogma.
Brad Bird as Edna Mode.
It's pretty funny, isn't it? Even though apparently Lily Tomlin, she was potentially going to be on board for it, but they didn't do that.
Why not, do you think?
I don't know. It's interesting. I know that here we start to see this kind of some other villains pop in. This is Bomb Voyage, which I think is good, but apparently originally he was going to be named Bomb Perignon, but apparently the makers of Dom Perignon refused to give up legal rights for it. But I like the idea of a Frenchman, just the Monsieur Incroyable, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like how evil this dude is too, because you get this whole little like back and forth between these two, and there's still Bomb Voyage in the background, and he's like not above potentially murdering a child. Like it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a play off of not only like Fantastic Four, but then like with the family, but with Buddy, it reminds me like a little bit of not only obviously Robin, but maybe more of like a Red Hood situation.
Yeah.
Do you get
I was
that
just
vibe?
about to say, yeah, I think so. And maybe they lean on that too, because I mean, it's Disney.
Well, what do you mean? Like,
Disney, you know, they get their ideas from everywhere, so.
oh, yeah, potentially. See, yeah, this is pretty impressive, you know, work too. You know, I think about how old this movie actually is, you know, quote unquote. But I just think that, like, this looks great. Like, this still holds up, like, really well.
Absolutely.
I think
That's what I love about, you know, Pixar films in general. Is they look so good. I mean,
What's
you go back and
yeah.
watch the Toy Story movies, and you're still like, oh wow, you know.
I feel like Toy Story 1 is a little, just like a smidge dated, but you're right. After that, I think it's very good.
They figured out their like sweet spots, and you know,
Just this look that he gets right before he hits the train. I love that. Just kind of like, he's like, I'm not going to die from this, but it's not going to feel great. Definitely that Spider-Man 2 vibe. You know, what's up with like heroes saving trains like this? Like there's...
Do we ever hear how they get their powers?
Nope, they just have them. In this world, I think it's just you have them.
Do you like that they just took that approach and not more like an origin film?
Yeah, I think that's better, because like, do we need to know that, like, do we need to see Bob Parr as a child, like, you know, crushing rocks and you know, doing stuff?
It'd make for a good like prequel someday if they ever need, like, you know.
That's true. Or you know what you do is you return to the king at Levi, and then you just, the first 10 minutes is the prequel of the trilogy.
There you go.
That's how you do it. I love how he's doing this all on the day that he's supposed to get married, and his wife is also out fighting crime. It's pretty great. But here's the weird thing. He's like not supposed to wear his mask in here, but there's a bunch of supers wearing their full outfits sitting, you know, in this church.
Yeah. I just got like a flashback of Kill Bill here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Disney takes a very...
It's a dark turn.
Dark turn, yeah.
Yeah. You know, Helen kind of gets... I could see where you get that a little bit. Like Uma Thurman-esque.
Yeah.
You know? She wouldn't have been a horrible choice either, but I think Holly Hunter, the one they got for her, is perfect. There's Edna in the back. That's great. Oh man, you know what I love watching about these movies? I love watching is like seeing these things, time after time, and still noticing something new like that. Like that's something probably a lot of people noticed the first time, but I never looked for that before. I also love how this is exactly how in modern day this is what would happen in superheroes. They would be sued for this kind of stuff all the time.
Very Watchmen.
Oh, for sure, dude. It's so Watchmen. Totally, dude. It's like a mix of a bunch of things.
Did you hear that the director of Marvel Studios just admitted that Watchmen was his favorite film?
Oh, really? Was Kevin Feige said that?
Yeah, I was very surprised by that. I was like, wow. I like it, but it's very, very dark, very different.
Oh, I didn't. It's so long, and I don't really like. I'm not a huge fan. That's just me.
Yeah. I don't think it's my favorite film because it is very long.
Yeah.
By the time you get to the villain, you're like, what the heck? But
yeah. It's just, I don't know. It goes on for too much.
Absolutely.
So, Levi, believe it or not, originally Brad Bird was told it would take 10 years and $1 gazillion to make this originally.
Mm-hmm.
And he revealed this in 2005, and then he said the budget ended up being actually smaller for $92 million.
Holy crap. Why was the budget so much, do you feel like, to make this compared to like other Pixar films?
I don't know if it was though, but at the time it was like really cutting edge technology, and one of the things you'll see here in a little bit is Violet and her hair, which was in the theoretical phase, even while they were doing the voice recordings, because it took that long to do. And I'd say the hair still looks really good. Like this movie tackles a lot of stuff that Pixar hadn't until this point.
Do you feel like that's the biggest part was just the animation?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of it because they're breaking new ground with some of this stuff, like some more realistic-y looking things. Plus, they had humans to deal with toys and bugs and stuff. You can fudge it and play around with it. But this is like they want to have a little semblance of realism.
Yeah.
I also absolutely love the tonal shift in the beautiful, saturated colors of the past, and now the job work setting place for Bob here.
Grays and whites and dreary blacks and yeah.
Do you have a favorite Incredible, Levi? Is there any of them that stand out to you?
Ask me that towards the end.
I want one.
It always changes.
And then at the end,
I love Dash. I usually don't like. Okay, the Flash is one of my least favorite characters.
Whoa, why? Why do you hate the Flash?
I don't like the Flash because I don't like his suit. I think it's dumb. Yeah, we'll get to that. But Dash is really fun, and he's so spunky,
So you hate the Flash because of his suit?
No, not necessarily. No, well, yeah, the Flash, yeah.
But you like another speedster wearing a red suit named like a child. You like Dash. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
I'm just, even in like the new Justice League, I liked the character, but I don't really like the suit. And
sure.
I also felt like the Flash was a little underutilized. What do you think?
Oh, in Justice League?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard because they still have to do the origin story and stuff, or his standalone. Okay, I like Dash a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I've always kind of had a problem with this film is his speed. Because later on you see him running around and he's very, very fast. But in this clip we're about to see, he moves so quickly, you can barely see him move. It's incredible. See what I did there?
That's...
Right?
I love it.
I like it too. It's
love
funny.
How he's like trying to frame him too, and he's like, dude, you need to maybe take a break.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, he's talking about just sitting down and he's just gonna get attacked. It's just like, but Dash can move that quickly, right?
Yeah, that's insane. They're just like,
don't burning me. I
love how Pixar. I love how Pixar has like these super unique like human character models. Everybody looks so different. I mean, look at like the football head of this dude Bernie, and then look at the principal.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that
they just give a quality to like all these different characters. I love that.
I think that's a big thing because they hadn't really tackled this before. and making each human feel distinct is huge. Like, not just from the main characters, but like you said, like those really weird offshot secondary characters, like those two, they were still like, they weren't just like, oh, let's just make whatever we can.
Yeah.
It's just like, nope, we're gonna make this teacher look like a crazy person with big eyes and, you know, with the big glasses, I should say. Look at her hair, like Helen's hair, like that's not bad, man. That's
no, it's not bad.
And Dash's hair, for that matter. Ugh. And I love that his hair looks like he's always running. Like he's always like the windswept. Like it's, you know, right behind him as if he's moving at top speed.
Yeah.
Well, there's that violet hair.
Just looking up some numbers here. This movie, had a budget of 92 and raked in 633.
Nice.
That's
very good. So I don't know if the budget, if they included the marketing. I don't know, because it's usually double, so that means it's like 180. But still, even if that's the case, then they pulled in quite a bit.
And why do you think it took so long for Incredibles 2? I mean, people have been wanting this for so long. Why 8? How many years has it been? 13?
Well, when's the first one?
2004.
Yeah, so it's been 14 years.
That's insane. I mean, before we started high school, we were still in middle school then.
Yeah.
We're all like past college and everything now.
I think because Pixar was like moving on and doing a bunch of other stuff, and they were only going to do sequels for like things like Toy Story.
Which is weird to me because like you come up with Toy Story 3, which is, I mean,
yeah, well,
that baby will never not haunt my nightmares.
Yeah,
just saying that, but for reals, like I really, 14 years, it's a long time.
Well, I think too we're living in a post MCU or currently MCU universe, too, where it's like everybody loves superhero films and they're the biggest and best things. When this came out, this is 4 years before that first Iron Man, where superhero films weren't like, some would do okay, but this was just kind of a shot in the dark. And even though this did well, if this were to come out like the first one, like now or 4 years ago, we would have probably gotten a sequel pretty quick, I think. Another thing that they do super duper well is the dialogue between the family. They make it feel very real, and that's something I hope they take in if they ever do a Fantastic Four again, because that's what this movie I think really nails, is like, this really does feel like a family unit that just happens to have superpowers, not the other way around. I also love how, like, you're constantly thinking about their powers. You saw Bob kind of mess up the car here, and now he's like he's still cutting the steak or whatever while he's talking to Dash, and he's kind of egging Dash on, being like, how fast do you think you were going, But his strength is always a factor. Like, he cuts through that plate, like, yeah, it's great. So Violet's hair, I still think, man, the gloss, the shine.
It's really good.
So good, man. Like, it's so insane.
She's everybody's favorite emo character. I feel like Hot Topic needs to really start doing some merch with her.
They will once this one comes out. But she's kind of emo now, but then like later on, she starts putting her hair back, and like she literally kind of comes out of her own shell. I like how she really likes this Tony guy. And every time she jumps there, I always think she's stretching. I always think it always looks like she's stretching.
I love that.
That force field effect.
No force field.
Yeah, so good. Think about, like, this is when they're a little bit older, but think about when they were like legitimate babies.
Oh, yeah.
Like Dash running away from you, and you're telling him no. Like. Another thing I like that we kind of jump in here, you were asking earlier, Levi, about the whole like origin story. Like, we're already past the prime of all these supers, and we know that they existed. And when he looks at the newspaper there, he's talking about like, oh man, like, we lost one of them. That's crazy. And you're like, oh wait, what happened? It's just great. They're just a regular family. Frozone's powers are pretty good. I know Samuel Jackson was campaigning for a sequel for this for a long time.
Yeah, everybody loves Sammy J.
I like him. I didn't really like. I don't know. We'll see what his inclusion is further on in the MCU. I'll say that much.
Oh, I mean, well, his part. I mean, we're gonna see the most Nick Fury we've ever seen next year.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
Probably
he's gonna play a huge part of Captain Marvel. I hope, and you know, I think he's probably gonna be in Avengers 2.
Or Avengers. You mean 4?
Infinity 4, yeah.
Infinity 4.
Whatever they call this one.
They should just call it Infinity Forever.
Yeah, Infinity Forever. I like that.
So Jack apparently. Okay, so he can transform and do a bunch of different things, but apparently they wanted him to be able to transform into goo.
What?
Brad Bird did, and they just they said we couldn't do it. They couldn't do it in the time allotted. They're like, he's gonna have 4 transformations. He's not gonna have 5 in this movie.
Yeah, you know, people don't think of how long it takes to animate something.
Oh
like
yeah,
this, you know,
it's insane.
And not only that, but do you like the Beast form? How do you feel about that?
Oh, I don't know. I kind of dig it. I mean,
it's kind of weird though, isn't it?
It's like the devil form. Yeah, I just like seeing a baby become like a demon. I think that's kind of funny. There's something really hilarious to that to me because you take the most innocent thing in the world and you make it into like a baby Hulk for like 5 seconds, and that's fun because the parents don't see it. Like, yeah. Are you not a fan of that?
I don't know how I feel about it. It feels weird. I like the invisibility. I think that's hilarious.
Does he have invisibility?
Well, he disappears, and then he's like, "Cookie."
Oh yeah, sorry. Now
he teleports
in the sequel,
like,
yeah,
like teleporting or.
Yeah, that's
I just love that. He's like, "Cookie." He's so exhausted. I can't wait for this movie.
I think that's the reason why Jack is fun, and you have to keep him as a baby. Because if you age him up at all, you're like, okay, so he's starting to understand his powers. It's way more fun to have someone be the most powerful and not be in control of their abilities.
I think that's kind of what we're feeling too with Groot right now. Like,
sure, a little.
Do you think we even needed a in between stage, or do you feel like they could have just gone straight to adult Groot again?
I wish we could have gone to adult Groot, but I think they just kind of had to keep him on the back burner, you know, for what they're doing right now. I also love that they talk about like Frozone's powers. You think would be amazing, like he could just take care of this quickly.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't because, you know, he's dehydrated and he can't make any ice. And then Bob's like, I can't just start breaking down a building. You know what I mean? Like, I can't just destroy everything. Like, I love that they're constantly thinking about the civilians here. This is another Spider-Man 2 thing, saving people from burning building.
Yeah.
Who's got a lot of Spider-Man 2 stuff?
Just see as there's like a little Green Goblin cameo here.
I forget when Spider-Man 2 came out, though.
I want to say 2004?
Was that the same year this came out?
Let me fact check that. Spider-Man 2. Not Homecoming 2, garbage. Spider-Man 2, 2004.
They came out the same year?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Must have been having some good ideas there. Just going around.
And just so everybody, all of our fans know, we are big Sam Raimi fans. We love the original trilogy.
Well, I should say I'm a fan of just those movies. I haven't really watched any other Sam Raimi stuff, so.
Oh, yeah. Let's be clear. He did a great job with Spider-Man.
Yeah. It's unfortunate how it ended, I think.
Yeah.
But we still got 1 and 2, which are great. He's very confident that he can freeze this guy before he gets shot in the face.
Yep.
Again, they wouldn't go Kill Bill with this. You know, they were not going to make it dark.
Oh.
Such a cool visual, though.
That is really cool.
That's a great visual.
And I like how the guy's still, like, not frozen enough that he, you know...
Yeah, like he's not dead.
He's blinking in there.
Yeah. Frozen didn't kill him. Man, I love to just, like, instead of going bowling or whatever, they're just, like, they just sit in their car and they listen to the police radio and talk about the past, and then if they ever get the chance, they go and they, you know, still save people because they just can't stop. Do you like the 1960s kind of vibe they have here? Because, like, it's kind of interesting how that hasn't changed too much since their golden years.
Is this from 2004, or is this based in 2004? Do we know the timeline of this?
I don't think so. I don't think it's based, you know, on Earth or anything like that. There might be some references to it, but I haven't.
You don't think this is Earth?
Well, I don't know. It's not, like, in the historical timeline so much. Like, they're not saving historic figures, and I don't know if they really talk about anything that's from Earth. unless like the golden era was like in the 30s or something, or 40s, and like this is the 60s.
Yeah.
You know, because that's how the look is, because there's all these angles and the weird furniture. Oh, this is actually quite a big thing in this movie that some other people have talked about, but Brad Bird is dismissed. But he starts talking here about celebrating mediocrity from Dash graduating, you know, quote unquote, from one grade to the next. And then that's the same thing with Buddy, is he says, like, when everyone's super, nobody will be. You know? So I don't know if that's a thing. I think it's kind of a cool sub theme to the whole thing, but do you get that vibe?
I guess I never thought about it before, so it's interesting that you're bringing that up now. Yeah, I had never thought about that before, honestly.
Yeah.
But as a kid, you know, as like a 2004 me, I don't think I would have ever picked up on that, you know?
Yeah. I remember agreeing, I think, with him, though, about that little moment where he's like, he's graduating from the 4th grade to the 5th grade, because it's like, when I went from 4th grade to 5th grade, it wasn't, like, we didn't
Not a
have, like, a
big deal at all,
celebration.
no.
Yeah, I was just like, just, you're going, like, whatever.
But nowadays, like, yeah, it's like you're graduating from, like, 2nd grade, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know, like, you should be, I mean, that's just, like, part of life.
Yeah.
If you're not graduating from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, then, you know, you got other things to talk about.
That's true. I like how, Helen is kind of scary right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the vibe. Style's good.
And we're back to that dreary.
Yeah, InsureCare. What a horrible, perfect name for this type of job.
Exactly. Yeah, InsureCare. Love it.
This isn't what your job is like, Levi, is it? You stuck like in a little...
No, my office is much more vibrant and much more peppy.
Oh, fancy! Do you have your own big corner office, Levi?
I have my own corner desk. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I share an office with 3 other ladies, so
I didn't realize.
Things interesting.
Yeah, the pencils say "Your life is in our hands." That's such a good motto for an insurance company.
A little bit of OCD action here.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite bits in this whole movie, because you get this little guy who Bob could easily mess up and just hasn't for years. And then you finally get to see like the pure rage on Bob's face, because he's moving from just his complete boredom here, which I love so much, because he doesn't care. Oh, all the clocks are the same too. He doesn't even have different times. It's so funny.
This voice actor is the same as I've heard it so much before. Who?
The law requires that I answer no.
Who else is this voice actor?
He's from, I think, that one movie everybody loves, Princess Bride, maybe?
No, what's the character's name? Let me look it up.
I don't know. I also enjoy that Bob has been through this before.
Oh, Insurance Boss. Good old Google right at the top there.
Yep.
It is Gilbert Huff.
Yeah.
Oh, Wallace Shawn.
Who?
Oh yeah, Wallace Shawn. He's he plays Rex in Toy Story.
Oh yeah, you're totally right, dude. Good call.
Yeah. He's in yep.
Princess Bride?
I was like, where did I hear that? Yeah, Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Vizini. I recognize the guy too. I've seen him in stuff before. And he's Tao Ti in Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Nobody has, Jimmy.
Yeah. I love this. Just grabs him by the throat. So, like, this guy's dead, right?
Yeah.
He throws him through, like, let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4 walls. Like, I don't care how paper thin. Like
you're going to jail for this, dude. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Like, I don't know how you thought you were going to get out of that one, but
I also love this guy throughout, because he does kind of 180 later, but I love right now you can just tell he's been doing this. He was at their wedding, And he's just like, it costs money, Bob, every time this happens,
Yeah.
It's just like, we can't keep doing this. Who's passed out? Oh, they're in a hospital, I guess. I was like, who else passed out there? This movie does kind of handle some real world topics, like if superheroes existed, like this again with money, 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 as he says. And I really like that, but they don't make it the focal point of the film, like where Batman vs Superman did, or Civil War does,
Mm-hmm.
Guy's got the face of like a bloodhound, just like, I've been doing this for years, I'm just tired.
Kind of reminds me of like, your, I don't even, too far of a reference.
Nope, try it anyway. Let's go.
Without a Trace. Do you remember that show? That dude. That was like the main dude.
Maybe?
Without a Trace.
Okay.
It was a show on CBS where people like would disappear and they'd find them. Without a Trace. I actually really liked that show.
I like that little kid, by the way. Kind of always being there.
Just always hanging around. We'll see him.
Yeah. He'll be the new villain.
Did you were talking about timeline a little bit. Do we know of timeline for Incredibles 2? Is it like right after the first one?
Immediately after the first one.
Oh, good. Okay.
Following up on the end fight scene, I think, here, which is great.
Do you feel like that's weird 14 years later? We're just picking right back up?
Maybe, but I think if the voice actors are all fine, I don't remember if Dash... I know Violet was a bit older, so I don't know if Dash was also, too. I think that's only a problem if you have, like, kids doing it. Like, I know Finding Nemo, they did it, and I think they recast Nemo. Because, like, the little boy who played him, they're like, we're going to need a new one because it'd been so long.
Oh, did they have a new voice actor for Finding Dory?
Yeah, I think so.
They didn't need one, huh?
Oh, I think they did, because Nemo, I think they changed him.
Is he in Finding Dory?
Yeah, he is. He's a big part in Finding Dory.
Huh.
Yeah, don't you remember?
No. I wasn't really a big fan of it because I was kind of let down, actually.
Why? Did you not like it?
No, Finding Nemo's one of my absolutely favorite Pixar films, and it wasn't what I expected as a sequel to be.
Okay. Yeah, he's in there with his dad. But Pixar for a long time wasn't into the sequel business. I mean, they did make Toy Story 2, but before that, they weren't really doing sequels.
Which I get, but, like, it's hard to release something so beloved, like, that. And
well, also, it's a moneymaker, and I'm sure when it changed, where, like, Disney acquired them, I don't know exactly
Frozen
the timeline
is
for all
Pixar
that.
too, right?
No, technically, Frozen is Disney Animation Studios.
Oh, okay. Because we're waiting on a sequel from Frozen too.
Well, it's on its way. But, to be honest with you, I think Disney Animation Studios, right now, for me, is just as good, if not better than Pixar. I really like Tangled. I think Frozen's solid. I think Moana is fantastic. I think Big Hero 6 is good.
I love Big Hero 6, yes.
Big Hero 6 is good, dude. Like, Baymax is... We should comment on that sometime.
Big Hero 6 didn't take off, I don't feel like, as big as they wanted it to.
And the thing was, that was the first time they did, like, kind of a Marvel Disney Animation Studios crossover, because Big Hero 6, I think, is, like, a Marvel comic. And it just didn't blow up the same way.
It's kind of a cult classic now, like, as far as those film goes, but, hey, I mean, Incredibles kind of the same way, right? It didn't blow up at first.
It'd be cool if these two... I don't know if they could do it because the styles are just different enough, but it would be really cool to see the Incredibles go head-to-head or work with Big Hero 6's group.
Yeah. I mean, do you remember this film being a big, huge hit back in the day? I don't. I didn't see it till later, actually.
I think it did pretty well, and one of the reasons why... They had this teaser trailer where they show Bob sitting in that room he was just in, trying to put a belt buckle on, but he's gotten too fat.
Oh,
and I think it really appealed to, like, older guys who wouldn't maybe necessarily want to watch this, who just thought it was just hilarious. Because this movie kind of, it attacks the entire family. Like, there's somebody in here for everybody, which is great.
It's cute.
I like that they have, like, a real relationship, too. Like, they fight and stuff, but it's not like they hate each other.
Yeah.
There's years of experience between them, and...
Totally.
I love it. Just kind of like giving her half-truths and just being like, yep, it's a good thing. Mm-hmm. Definitely didn't almost kill my boss today. I love that Mirage, everything she gives him, the business card and the tablet, are Mirages.
Yeah.
Like, you kind of move them. Oh, it's so good. Oh, and the design of these ships. Another thing that they did here is I think they said there are how many, like 4 different locations. There's a bunch of different locations in this one. Maybe it's more than that. Um, but I love how varied they are. You know, because you go from kind of that beginning, New York style area, and then you move into the suburbs, and then you go to this island, which is unlike anything they had done before. And oh gosh, Mirage's hair looks good also.
Yeah, absolutely.
Side note. I think she's actually kind of an interesting character too, because I would like to know more about her backstory.
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot.
And you don't in this movie. Oh man, this is great. The first of many. He's gotten too old for this jokes. Or too fat.
They don't do that too much, which is great.
Yeah, it's sparing. So, Levi, you're a retired super. Say you're in Bob's position and you get this job opportunity. Do you take it, or do you think about it for a bit?
I'd take it.
Take it immediately?
Absolutely.
Can't handle not just sitting around.
No, he wants to include the kids and...
Well, he doesn't, like, maybe eventually, yeah, he does, because he just wants them to show off their powers.
Yeah.
Because he's angry. I think a lot of it, that I think about it more so now, is that, he says, why can't we let Dash go out for sports? Basically, it's more of him projecting his own, like, want to be able to get out and do stuff. Because he's like, man, I haven't been able to do anything. But even though he's a bit chunkier, he's still, like, invincible, basically, almost, and he's super duper strong. Like, he didn't lose any of that, which is great.
So this is one of our first big settings we're seeing here now, getting out of that cityscape. I mean, for 2004 Pixar, this still looks really dang good.
Yeah, this does look great. Just like, again, remember we were looking at him in The Office just a little while ago, like gray color scheme, like the colors come back, like, we're back into hero mode. Yeah, the nice dense jungle, man. And look at all the plants, they're pretty different too. That's a pretty cool thing, like you're looking at all of them, there are differences. How do you feel about the Omnidroid?
I mean, I think it's crazy enough that it just caused him to bleed a little bit,
Yeah. Do you like the design?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's cool. It kind of reminds me of, like, Breath of the Wild, and maybe that's where Breath of the Wild got
yes,
a little bit of inspiration from here. But...
Oh my gosh. And maybe they've had something like this in something else, but that's the biggest thing I can think of. Dude, you're so right. Like, the centuries. Oh, man.
Yeah, I remember seeing, like, early stuff for Breath of the Wild and be like, wow, those look like that looks like the thing from Incredibles.
Yeah. I beat the Trials of the Master Sword, so I've seen plenty of these things. I think the design is really cool, and I do like how it can kind of turn into a ball.
Yeah.
Because it allows it to do so many things, and then it has those big kind of, like, feet, hands that can turn into blades or chopper, like, spinning ability.
It's so... Breath of the Wild. Let's be real. Like, they really took some inspiration.
Yeah. Later on when it gets, like, the lasers and stuff, you're like, alright. Here we go. This thing is so powerful, it can withstand that. Oh, see, here it's funny again, because he has a moment where he's got the upper hand, but he has another moment where he's like, oh crap, my back, it hurts.
Yeah.
Which makes him coming back even better. Yeah.
Got some molten blades coming in.
It's like, how are you going to live through this, pal?
I like how the robot doesn't just throw him into the... Doesn't just throw him into the... Yeah. Just smacks him down on some safe ground.
Yep. It also shows a little bit of his ingenuity. Because, like, when we've seen him back, especially in the heyday, it was a lot of kind of just, I'm just going to brute strength my way through this.
Mm-hmm.
But this thing, he can't do that. This thing is like, nope. I don't care how strong you are, I'm just going to keep coming back. So now he's like, nope, I have to find a way to make it murder itself, basically.
Tears out his own heart. I
It's so
forgot
good.
about this scene. This is
It's
gold.
it's so good, isn't it? Like it's just such a wonderful little scene. Ugh. We must bring him back. Syndrome. I like Syndrome.
I mean, he's a cool character. He's cocky. He's got everything you love
Yeah.
from a villain.
I just like the power, like or the tech.
I feel like, yeah. I mean, I'm glad that they really hit the nose on the head too with the villain in this film because I don't feel like it would have made as much of an impact.
Yeah, I'm thinking that the villain for the next one's probably going to be Saul or whatever the guy who's trying to get Elastigirl into the public eye. I feel like he'll probably be the villain.
I hope not. I hope that they kind of throw a curveball and just, you're like, oh wow, that's the villain. That's what I'm looking for.
That'd be cool. Question. Is that magma like really there or is it behind something else? Because later on they show him kind of dive through it. But if they could walk through it like that and stand and talk in front of it, wouldn't that like be melting their faces off?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, it's a good question. I think I think it's there.
Now we're gonna deep dive because I just feel like it. But do you think that like Bob, he does kind of flirt with her because that's like his old school way of doing it, but it's almost like an analogy for him flirting with being a super again? Like this whole bit is like, look how tantalizing and delicious and everything, how wonderful all this life is.
Yeah, she's trying to remind him like, hey, this is what you had.
Yeah. And like he immediately goes back and is like, really nice to the family and loves everybody, but it's almost like he's kind of cheating on his family with being a superhero again in a weird way. Like,
yeah,
his workout routine though, right? Levi, is that what your workout routine would be? If you like, what superpower do you think you would honestly have? Like, if you couldn't pick, if you had to if one was just given to you.
If I could pick?
Yeah. No, you can't pick. You can't pick. It's just given to you.
I can't pick.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just hope for something not dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I look at some of these X-Men and I'm like, that's your power?
Yeah,
You can change the TV channel by blinking?
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna call on you when Magneto comes to town.
Yeah. Yeah, and like they're just like him having his adult relationship, but they only allude to it slightly, with Helen.
Yeah.
All that jazz. A little
All
Chicago reference.
of that jazz.
Here comes one of the best characters I think Pixar's come up with.
Ever.
I really like her. And this is voiced by the director, Brad Bird.
Which is so funny.
Yeah. I love that they got away with, my God, you've gotten fat in a kid's movie. Like, it just seems like something that you couldn't say. But they do it. Yeah, I like how she's also retired and she hates it. And if I remember correctly, she talks about supermodels. There's nothing super about them, right? Milan, darling, Milan. You clicking over there? What are you clicking on? You clicking on some stuff?
Absolutely.
You're looking up hot facts, aren't you?
Absolutely. I love her get up here.
What do you love about it specifically?
That water fountain.
That's not her getup. What do you like about like the scales that she's wearing like a dragon?
Oh
outfit?
no, I'm sorry, not her. I mean her pad, her crib.
Oh, gotcha.
We need like them to do like a little short of like Edna's crib, MTV Edna's crib.
That'd be pretty funny, actually. A hobo suit.
Hobo suit. I'm like, can you say hobo?
Yeah, she could say hobo.
I
She could
suppose
say
that's
whatever.
not a bad. Yeah, I was like, I suppose that's not a bad word, but.
Do you think that she was inspired by her chair and stuff to like how the color she goes with? Because like they're red and black chairs, and then she makes them a red and black suit.
Yeah.
Right? Now look at her comparatively to the gym teacher or whatever, the health teacher or whatever that Dash
They're
had
just
before.
so good at like coming up with like these human character designs.
Yeah, but like, so she's got like the big glasses too, but her,
Yeah.
just like they do it so differently. I remember in the theaters, I think I said this out loud. I was like, "Oh, the villain's got a cape." Like later on when we see it, I'm like, "Oh, my bad."
Why'd you say that out
Just because I was with people, I kind of whispered it to them. Okay, so she says 58 there. So the golden era was 50. So, like, let's say it's been at least 15, 16 years, because that's how old Violet is. And let's say she's the... So maybe it's, like, in the 70s right now?
That was really dark for it.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of murders. It's a murder montage.
Yeah.
Those characters all need to be playable in that Lego Incredibles game, right?
Is that out?
It's coming.
I love it.
I will fix the hobo suit. I know these lines. If you guys are hearing it before it shows up, it's because I've remembered them. Look at her floating stairway too. Oh my gosh! Like her whole house is so great.
It's on point, as the kids would say. It's lit.
Mm-hmm. So, talking and joking, like I said before, about him cheating on his family with the whole hero thing. Obviously, they do play into it eventually with, with all this. And you better not be playing World of Warcraft over there.
I'm not. I'm watching.
He lies. He's leveling up his monk. Don't make me go all, what's his name? I can't think of it. Lies. Deception. From Rogue One. Can't think of his name. Saw Gerrera. There we go.
When she's all worried.
Well, she should be. He's got like a crazy amount of new money, and she found this like hair on him that he wouldn't get from anywhere else. Oh man, I love this manta ray ship thing. It's so cool. Would you care for more mimosa? Levi, are you eating shrimp and drinking mimosas before you go fight a robot? Is that what you're doing?
Not shrimp. I was just saying, like, that's...
What's wrong with shrimp?
And I'm like, he's drinking mimosas, so... I'm catching all these little adult tidbits back then.
Yeah, man, shrimp's the best way to start the day. A little bit of shrimp cocktail, man. It's good to go.
No, a mimosa's an alcoholic beverage, so...
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. I love the design of that ship.
Jimmy didn't know that before this film.
I don't think I did. No, probably not. As a child, I didn't. Well, 2004, I was 14. So, maybe, I don't know. Oh, someone's munching. What are we munching on tonight?
So for this film, we've got an oatmeal cream pie.
An oatmeal cream pie? Okay.
Little Debbie.
Why was this the choice? Is this one of your favorite treats?
Yeah. Absolutely. What do you like to munch on, Jimmy, when you're watching movies?
Nothing. No, I am an Oreo guy through and through. I have some here, but I won't do it. I can't. I love Oreos, man. Don't leave me alone with a box. I got a problem. Actually,
Oreos are really good, but yeah. I don't like all the weird flavors they're coming out with these days. Like,
yeah, no.
Caterpillar Oreo flavored. Like, why?
Yeah, no. I like classic.
I
double
will
stuff.
Say, there was this Oreo flavor that came out last year. It was what were those called? Shit. I'm trying to think of them now. They were so good. I think it was like pumpkin. I honestly think it was like pumpkin spice Oreos, and like the flavor was, the flavor was just like super cinnamony. It was super good.
You're so basic, Levi.
I know, but they were so good.
Edna. Yeah, I like Oreos a lot. I have a little funny God of War Oreo tie-in that some people may or may not have seen by this point, but there's a...
She's like, I'm Elastigirl?
Elastigirl, yeah, just starts screaming. I like how Edna has been waiting for this call.
Yeah.
Like, she's sitting there. Look at her fireplace. It's a bunch of fish. I didn't realize that before. That's incredible.
That's so cool.
That is so good. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That is so amazing. This movie, man. Oh my gosh. It's so good. I don't care who you are. Best Pixar film. Oh yeah, dude.
But it's like, why was he hiding this stuff? You know?
Well, because he doesn't want to scare the family, and he wants to keep doing this, and... Syndrome, what a jerk. Big table. Like a boardroom for who? You know, his grunts. Another thing they did really well here is, you know, Frozone earlier is talking to Bob about the whole monologuing thing. And they do cut back to that right here with Syndrome, which is great.
But wasn't his hair blonde?
Yeah, he could have dyed it. I love, too, that they don't hide his identity, because he goes right into it and he says it so creepily. It's like, oh my gosh. I like, the older I get, though, the more I understand, and this might sound like I'm a crazy person, but I get Syndrome more and more now. Like, when I was younger, I was like, oh, geez, he's just being a jerk. But I could see, like, if there were people you had, like, idols or role models and stuff, and they turned out to not be as great as you wanted, like, how that would affect you. And you'd be like, ah. And I love that he says that. Now you respect me because I'm a threat, because you didn't before. And I'm like, it's not wrong. You know what I mean? Like, he's, for sure.
I love his suit, how it, like, perfectly forms, like, his, you know, like, his body.
Oh, Mr. Incredibles?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Buddies.
Oh, Syndromes? Yeah. 0 point energy. Might be one of the cheapest things in any movie. It's basically telekinesis. I remember getting him to play for Disney Infinity, and I wanted him specifically for that power because I thought that was so overpowered and cool. I was like, you just pick anybody up and throw him. You just pick him up and throw him.
What were his powers before? He was just a regular kid?
Yep, had no powers. Just had his jet boots, really. So, like, he makes this...
So he's like Iron Man.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So basically he made that other Omnidroid, which he's pretty positive was going to kill him, but now he's just going to kill him himself, I think, is the whole point, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, he's basically Iron Man. A bad Iron Man. Right? Which, if you remember correctly, Iron Man 3, for those who haven't seen it, has an incredibly similar plot to this film. Like, beat for beat, almost.
I was going to say, the dude, the guy that's picked on when he's younger by Tony.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very similar, even to a point where they're both, like, tied up, like, with their hands and arms, like, away from... it's just...
Who is this guy supposed to be?
This is Gazer Beam. This is the one he was reading about, and he writes Kronos with his laser vision. But yeah, he's the one in the paper that got lost. So like a Cyclops, you know.
Oh, yeah. There's so much, like, there's so many little details of this movie.
So I don't know exactly how Gazer Beam got the password or figured out Kronos. I don't know how he got that far. There's part of me that would have loved to have seen a prequel, or not a prequel, but like an intro to this whole thing where it showed Gazer Beam like running for his life from one of these Omnidroids, and
yeah,
burning that into the wall. But another thing that's impressive too is that they make up all these different superheroes, and they make them up from scratch. Like, obviously there are some similarities. Like Elastigirl, I think, is also the name of like one of the DC. They had to like talk to DC about that because she's a member of the Doom Patrol. But
yeah,
these are brand new characters, and they're all inhabiting this world together, and it feels so natural and authentic. I feel like I know.
It's hard to believe that a guy could make that.
Yes,
voice.
I love that. I also love that she's got these fail-safes like that, just in case she is being held hostage.
Yeah. That
she could take care of herself. Like, Edna could kill you if she wanted.
Don't mess with Edna.
So my question is, she makes all these different materials for all these, like, or all these suits, but they're all kind of the same material, but Jack's got, like, basically something for everything. Do
Yeah.
all the suits do that? You know, well, they should all be fire retardant, right? 1,000 degrees.
It's like, how would that protect the head, though?
It doesn't. Very good point. I also feel like she has all this money and time that she has put all of this together, and she's just so excited to have somebody stop by. You know, like she's like, that's why she's giving her this whole spiel. Like she's like, oh, you can hang out here for as long as you want.
Yeah.
It's probably good that Edna's like a good person, because if she was a villain, it could be real bad.
Oh, yeah.
Also, Edna has cloaking technology.
Which is awesome.
Yeah. Just the visual representation of all this is so cool.
I love the rockets.
Yeah, just like... But that comes in later, which is nuts, you know, because you're like, oh, the rockets is a jokey thing. It's like, not really. Oh, so good. And the flip, too, which is cool that we'll see that again, another flip back in Incredibles 2, but she was the one at the beginning who was like, ready to settle down. You know, I'm not ready to settle down. I'm in my prime.
Yeah.
And now she's like, I'm out of the game, retired. Now she's getting back in. Can't help it. Edna, she's your designer, and she's also your therapist.
I wonder. I'd like to hear how they came up with like that character.
Oh, with Edna?
Yeah.
I think she was based on like a Disney costume designer as far as the look, but
Really?
know, I think I could be wrong on that. But also, once
That's
again,
really cool though. If that's the case,
showing Mr. Incredible's turn here to a more intelligent style instead of just brute forcing his way. Like, these guys aren't dead, but yeah. That water looks pretty good too. I like the little monorail. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly what it is. It might not be considered that, but
I mean, this is a long movie for a Disney, kids movie. How do you think?
Yeah.
How do you think kids did back then?
Well, at the time, it clocks in at almost about 2 hours. It was the longest Pixar film they'd ever done.
Yeah.
Which, you think about movies today, especially big blockbusters like Infinity War, and that one is like 2 hours and 40 minutes. That one's got a lot of live action. It's got a lot of other things too. But this, you add on another half hour to this, how much more time that would take to literally build it, like in a computer. Like, that's nuts. Man, I forget how like spy game this gets. Like, it's very cool. He's like, that's exactly how I play like Splinter Cell. You take out somebody over there, and they all go rushing over there, and you're like, whoop, like, you just go right in.
Yeah.
It's got like a little bit of dirt on his suit too.
Yeah, definitely very Splinter Cell. Metal Gear Solid.
Not a very clandestine suit. It'd be kind of cool if you could make them later on, where you could press a button and they would kind of change color, like in Young Justice. But,
Young Justice.
Yeah, this cartoon show. Okay, Levi, how successful do you think his plan would be if he got one of these Easter Island heads and smashed it into the magma? Like, do you think that this would work?
Not at all. But he's gonna give it a shot.
Like, I like the thought behind it. I also just don't get how she doesn't, like, I know she's looking down at papers or whatever, but she does not notice that gigantic thing in front of her moving. She's like,
She reminds me of Kim Possible a little bit.
oh, and her look? Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Dude, that would be a sick turn.
That would be so hot.
Yeah, that'd be...
Oh, I would just... That's really claustrophobic, actually.
Here comes another one of my favorite scenes in the whole thing. Something they kind of were going to put in that Insomniac game Fuse a while ago. I'll talk about it in a little bit here, but... This is very Cerebro, by the way. Like, long hallway out into darkness. Like, I like that. It's
I mean,
homage.
I wouldn't believe you if you told me that they didn't borrow any kind of, ideas or anything from other movies, other genres, other games,
Mm-hmm. I love how one of the first things he does to, like, they kind of show a lot, maybe too much, as far as, like, the evil villain plans in this computer montage coming up here. But he does go to check and see, and you get to see kind of the story of what happened with the supers.
Yeah.
Like, right here is, like, oh, these ones, they all died, and then you're like, okay, that guy beat one of them, and then it kind of shows that without having to actually show it, which I think is actually pretty intelligent. It's, like, sad because there's, like, Hypershock. He beat one and then died, like...
Yeah, all these... For all those slippers, it's really sad.
Yeah. And, like, he's so sad because he, like, knows all these guys and, like, the look on his face.
But we're just seeing that they destroyed some of their... Isn't that what we're seeing, too?
Yeah,
Some
that
of the
they destroyed
prototypes
some,
yeah.
but they just made him stronger. I love that he checks Elastigirl. And he's just like, oh, thank goodness. Like, whew. Like... Yeah. He's like, yep, I died to the thing. That's great. Do you think Syndrome's plan's a good plan? Like, I get where he's coming from, but at the same time, I think it's kind of dumb.
Yeah. I mean... Okay, this is definitely X-Men here.
Well,
Cerebro.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. It's like Cerebro. But I love this black goo thing. It's such a great idea.
That's why I'm like, you can't tell me that, like, they had to have gotten permission for a lot of this,
Well, the black goop thing, that's like that's an original.
Well, that's new, but I mean, like, the whole Cerebro thing and...
Yeah. Well, I mean, they don't need permission for, like, doing, like, a walkway. It's just maybe it's an homage. Oh, it's so cool to have a weapon that can take down someone who's, like, super duper strong. Because there's, like, what's he going to do to that? Can't punch his way out. Also, like, right now she's, like, convinced that he's cheating on her because she found this locator on an island,
Yeah.
Oh, and the little fire.
I love how, it's a little disposable.
Oh, it's so good.
Can you imagine if you lost, like, a ring down there or something?
Yeah.
You didn't mean to?
Pull yourself together. I'm trying to, like, look at all the little things. I love
her height. That's so funny.
Yeah, her height, and that she doesn't let it... She just will stand on top of a counter. Trying to look at all the little things in the background, like her little drinks and little jars and stuff, and...
I think that's what's fun about the commentaries, too, is, like, we've seen these movies before, frontward and backward, that it's, like, it's fun to pick out all the little details that you normally wouldn't get on the first.
Yeah. Well, and also I have it muted, so I'm just, like, watching it. I'm like, alright. But I know it. I have the little subtitles on, so I can, like, oh, yeah.
Oh, you have the movie muted?
Yeah, because I have you through Skype with my headphones, but I can't do it through the Xbox at the same time.
Oh, you're playing it through Xbox?
Yeah.
Ah, because you're on the DVD.
Oh, this is great. Just how annoying would a
every,
kid? Yeah,
every little kid can be.
Think of, like, if he wanted anything, like, in the world, like, say he wanted, like, a game console or a puppy or something. He's like, "Can I have a puppy now? Can I have a puppy now?" Like, just following you constantly, like, you can't get away.
And V's just like,
Yeah, she's like, yeah.
How old do you think that she is? Like 13, 14?
Yeah, that, roughly, I'd say. 16 maybe at most, but I don't think she's that old yet.
I don't think that there's that big of an age difference between them.
Well, Dash is probably... He's in the 4th, moving to the 4th to the 5th grade, so he's like, what, 8 to 10?
Yeah.
Maybe he's probably 9. One little thing, I don't want to forget it later, because she's calling this guy... It'd be cool if you get to play as the pilot in the Incredibles Lego game. But she, is it Holly Hunter, did you say her name was, Levi?
Yeah.
She actually learned this, like, aviation or avionics speak, which is actually pretty cool. because I remember taking some of that like a class in high school, and it sounds very legit, like when she's talking right here. And Holly actually learned that, which was like, that's really cool.
So funny that they have to learn that kind of speak to, you know.
Well, she said she wanted to. They didn't say she had to, but she wanted to make it sound authentic.
No, I mean that they use that in everyday terms as it is, you know.
Yeah. I've used this in real life too, where if no one picks up, I'm like, everybody's just getting coffee at the same time.
I mean, that happens sometimes. You call all your friends and you're like, what the heck is everybody doing right now?
It's just like the one time you want to talk to someone about something or need something and no one picks up. They always call it the worst times. Okay, so like in Iron Man 3, there's a shot of Iron Man tied up just like this. And it's like, come on, guys. Even though Syndrome is a bad guy, still a nerd when it comes to superheroes. I love it.
Yeah. And this contraption, I mean, to hold him, it's...
Oh, it's so cool. Like, yeah. It's got that whole, like, you know, the Tesla coil vibe, or like you see one of those in a store where it's like the sphere and you put your hand on it, and that's good. I also love that...
torture in a Disney film.
Yeah, torture. I like that it's strong, but I like that he is technically still stronger. Like...
Yeah.
Ugh. He's so cool. I like Mr. Incredible so much. I think he's great. It's so sad because it's like he just knows.
He's just evil.
Just stowed away on the plane. I wonder if they ever considered bringing Jack from like a story standpoint on the ship or on the plane. If they ever thought like maybe we'll bring Jack, and then they're like,
Yeah, who's watching that kid?
They say right here that they got a sitter, and then you cut to this, which they have a nice little short if you have the DVD that you can watch about what happens to poor Kari during her babysitting. Even like the cupboards are slanted, like on the bottom there, they're like slanted up and out, kind of. Like that's weird. It's cool though. Levi, you ever babysit? Did anybody ever leave you alone with a child?
No, for this reason. And she's like, I can handle it. Oh, I wish you could see more of that. We gotta watch that extra stuff.
Well, I was gonna say, in the short, like, she's listening to the cell phone message later, but you hear, like, a bunch of just various messages, which they do show in that short, but they also, you hear the beeping of the scene, like the missile's about to hit them from Kari's point of view, which is great.
Oh, Disney, they're good about little details.
I just love the whole fasten seatbelt, and it gets so intense here. And showing that Helen is not only just like a powerful superhero, but like also an incredibly good pilot.
I mean, if we got this great visuals back in 2004, can't wait to see what we get 14 years later.
I know, I'm like so excited. Like, I just can't even wait. Yeah, 15 years. So it's been 15 years. Okay. So that 58, maybe it's like 75-ish or, 72 or 3. Oh my gosh. This whole scene, like, one thing that some movies do really well, and this is one of them, is that no matter how many times you watch it, even without the sound, I still feel the tension.
Yeah.
Like, I still get goosebumps because there is just genuine stress in this scene, and it's so good. And just Bob's reaction.
Well, it's like, how is she okay helping him with this if she knows there's children on board?
Well, this is where I think Barrage starts to break. She starts to turn. Oh, poor Violet tries. Oh, and just the sacrifice play from Helen. Which is
crazy.
So good.
Violet just couldn't get it off, no.
Yeah, on the, getting shot with missiles earlier shows that the suit could take it, and there it is.
And she's okay though.
Yep, but then
And she looks like I see a little bit of what's her name from Jurassic Park. I love her.
Brace yourselves. I just love the jokiness.
Who am I thinking of from Jurassic Park?
Ellie Sattler, Laura Dern.
No, the new chick, the Chris Pratt's.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yes, thank you.
No, she's better than Bryce Dallas Howard.
You shut your mouth. I love Bryce.
You
Dallas
love
Howard,
BDH.
I see a little bit of her in this character.
There's some good wet hair effects in this movie.
Oh
like,
yeah,
that's like they're pretty good. They're pretty dang good.
And it's funny that her hair is actually a lot longer than you think it is, like when it's wet.
Yeah, that's true, because it's usually up in that bob.
Yeah, just the little details. It's so funny.
I also love that she's basically like the superhero instructor right now, and these are superheroes in training, where she's just like, all right, kids, like, we're in the field now, so just get a grip. Yeah.
I mean, I would totally take like an X-Men Pixar film or this kind of style.
oh yeah, I just think I love having it be its own thing. And this moment right here, I love that. So we get a lot of cool things. You get Mirage, who still cares about Syndrome and does this. You get, Syndrome, who's going to call his bluff. And then you get Mr. Incredible, who's like, I've got nothing left to lose, so I'm just going to I'm going pure villain.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so good. The close-up on the faces is just so good. Like, the emotion from the eyes is just, ugh. It'll be easy breaking a toothpick. Like, ugh. Like, because he could do it.
Yeah.
But he's still a good guy. Ugh.
I've outgrown you this harsh.
I know, it's so mean. I like that she's kind of like his Mystique, in a way, to his Magneto, if you want to call it that. But she, like, her turn makes a lot more sense, I think. You know? Because he's like, he almost threw her life away. Ugh. The intelligent usage of Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible's powers is so great.
And this is another movie that we just saw with Daniel Radcliffe.
What are you talking about?
Daniel Radcliffe had a movie where like he used a dead person's body to like.
Wait, he was the dead person.
He was the dead person. Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a weird. I never saw it, but it's
Danny Rad's doing some things these days. Good on him. Good on you, Danny.
I mean, I can't blame him. He's
Now You See Me Too.
Put up with that umbrella for too long.
Oh man, but still, iconic role, set for life.
I mean, it'll follow him for life, though.
Yeah.
Some of those people are like, oh man, I can't get out of that shadow. I mean, like, look at Kristen Stewart or Robert Pattinson.
I'll say, like, but look at Mark Hamill. Guy embraced it.
Yeah, that's kind of it. Like, embrace what people love you for, because you connected with them some way.
Yeah. I love this little moment where she's just like, I'm proud of you, and they're just kind of both just like, oh my gosh, that was so exhausting. This whole
Violet's
thing,
just very like, duh.
Yeah, I love it. And remember, still right now we're still seeing Violet with her hair kind of covering half of her face. Oh, I love this moment too. Because like the mom is fighting and going back on all the things she's ever said.
Yeah.
And this whole bit where she talks about the bad guys on the Saturday morning cartoons. Oh my gosh. It's so like
it's so dark for a Disney film. Like,
I was gonna say that, but I look at things like Hunchback of Notre Dame and stuff. But for Pixar, this is the first time. Like, there have been dark things here and there, like in Toy Story, but not like this.
I haven't seen Hunchback in years, since I was just a kid.
Oh, dude,
I don't think I liked it.
It's good. It's messed up, but it's good. I just love that whole like, they will not hesitate to kill you.
Yeah.
So much good like character interaction between Helen and the kids here. They all get a moment to not only interact with the mom, but interact with each other as far as the kids go. And this is where we start to see the turn in Violet as well. Because I think the more bold she becomes, obviously the more powerful her powers are too.
And she's the most powerful, isn't she?
I guess, you
Or
know.
do you think Jack-Jack's probably the most powerful?
Hell, Jack might be. It depends on what you consider power, but
Yeah.
kind of start to see. I love it. It's great. I think even Mr. Incredible comments on her hair later, which is good too.
And I mean, some parts of the story obviously are tried and true, but
What?
I mean, I'm trying to think of like similarities of like cliches, you know, but I feel like it does a pretty good job of making it its own thing.
Yeah, well, it's got, you know, there's the tropes, but
Yeah.
so. By the way, do we think there must have definitely been a romance at some time between the two
Which
of
is
them?
weird.
Which it might have started
I
like
don't.
back
It
when
makes me uncomfortable.
I think it's before probably he went full crazy. It's probably like when he was like a weapons developer and he maybe hired her as an assistant, you know, kind of like a
Yeah.
Tony Stark and Pepper Potts thing, but it went on too long, you know, and now it's like really bad.
Yeah.
I just noticed this, but like that both Helen and Bob use the exact same way to get in, but they do it in desperately different ways. Like Bob came in, knocked these two guys out, you know, and like ripped this thing off the tracks and whipped it in there. And like she,
Yeah.
because she's got more utility, can sneak in and do this sort of thing. Oh, I just love the big reveal there too. Oh, so good.
Do we have any kind of like Incredibles crossover with Kingdom Hearts? That's really weird.
Not that I can recall.
But they don't do a lot of like Pixar stuff yet. I mean, we're getting Toy Story soon.
Yeah.
Which is funny that it's like it's been this long for a Toy Story.
Well, and I
edition
can't.
of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't say that. I'm trying to remember because I'm blanking on something. But I think they have dabbled with stuff in the past, but nothing to that extent. So.
With Kingdom Hearts, or
Yeah.
with like including all the Pixar stuff.
Yeah. Because weirdly, they only stuck to like the Disney cartoons and then like some of the live action stuff, which is weird.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of getting off topic here, but I just read something recently about how like that all came to be. Like it was like Final Fantasy creators and Kingdom Hearts or Disney Japanese executives were like in the same elevator together, and they're like, "Hey,
Yeah,
it'd be
I've
fun
heard
to
that
merge
too.
our worlds," and then like, boom.
I wonder if that's real.
So they only had so much access to some Disney properties, you know. Like Mickey
Yeah.
could only be used in like one scene and stuff like that.
So
If that's the real story, I mean, that's
So I want to get back to this for a sec because I wanted to mention something earlier. I love how she was like checking herself on the mirror and she's not happy with herself. But this whole scene gets so crazy and out of hand, kind of with like the physics of it, you know?
You're just thinking of how much you love Elastigirl so much more than ScarJo.
Yeah, that too, because she's got superpowers. But I love like look at she's like locked in like 3 separate doors right now.
Yeah.
And she takes those guys out inadvertently, and
She's
it's like
crazy. It's like
this. She makes
Kick
it
'em.
work.
I love that.
Just Elastigirl is so good, dude. I'm
She's
so excited.
yeah.
Just that
She-
smirk, like yep.
What's the dude from Fantastic Four? She puts him to shame.
Oh, Mr. Fantastic, yeah. She
Yeah.
puts him like all in a locker. Yeah, this is so Splinter Cell-ish or Hitman or something. But yeah, no, the Kingdom Hearts thing, I've heard that story too, where they're like in an elevator. Maybe it's true. That's kind of cool to think that's the case, because I think it works really well.
What is she doing? I forget.
She's just practicing her force fields. Which is weird that like the force field and like invisibility thing has gone hand in hand for so long. I think when you, maybe scientifically, if you think more about it, it kind of makes sense, but... Oh yeah, by the way, you notice her hair now? She's got the headband.
Yep.
I don't know where she got that, but... Their marriage. I love that. They're so good.
Yeah, they're funny kids.
But like when you're a kid and your parents are having issues, like I get that where it's like you think it's like crazy stuff like that where you're like, oh no, like their marriage is falling apart.
Yeah, poor kids.
Yeah. Man, like Syndrome's like kind of like even if this did work, but somebody figured it out later, dude is, I think we can agree, is like a super terrorist.
I mean, how old is he there though? He's like in his 20s.
Yeah,
30s, maybe
he
like
might be
late
like
20s.
Yeah, late 20s, early 30s.
I mean, that's
like
crazy
our age,
to think that
you know?
like, how did he get to be where he is now?
Selling weapons, man. He's like, I used to sell. He's like, I sold weapons.
Yeah, which is funny. Very very Tony Stark.
Yeah, for sure.
But this came out before Iron Man.
But Iron Man, obviously, comics preceded.
No way.
No way. Can be.
It's all IP.
It's all IP. Yeah, perfect. You nailed it. Do you think Dash would be able to save Violet here? I've thought about this. I'm like, I don't know. Depends on how long that tunnel was.
If he ran back real quick, but I mean, I don't know.
Part of me thinks Dash would have run all the way down that tunnel in the first place and not waited. You know?
Yeah.
A113. That is the little nod to the classroom that a lot of the Pixar alums were in for, was it like graphic design class or something like that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. What is it? I can look it up.
Jimmy and his useful information.
Classroom number at California Institute of the Arts, where Bird and several others in the animation industry learned about graphic design and character animation. Levi.
Yeah, these ship designs are so cool.
I love that moment where he realizes he's been sleeping next to his sister, and he's like, "Oh, it's disgusting." Here comes.
I mean, every brother and sister relationship can relate.
Yeah, exactly. One of my favorite lines in the whole movie is coming up really shortly here, and I absolutely love it. Wait a second. That's not the line, but I would destroy the bird if I could.
Yeah.
And, like, we haven't had a pretty big action set piece for a while, really, since Bob fought the Omnidroid. Like, that was the last big one. Like, they've had little bits here and there, but, like, this one coming up gets, like, pretty chaotic.
Yeah, I think they kind of use use it sparingly, because it's such an action film.
That's true. I love that. No, there isn't. Like, he's just gonna kill her. It's like...
Which is crazy.
I love it. He's finally gone just, like, full dark. But he's, like, he's grabbing her like Superman grabbed Batman. He's, like, grabbing her, like, her chin.
Yeah.
Oh, and just, like, the comedic timing is so good with all of this, because, like, this moment... He's having, like, a moment where he's excited that his family is alive, and she hasn't felt genuine human connection for so long. And, of course, it's right when Helen, like, walks on the scene. Oh. I love it. Look at him, he's got the moves, man. How can I betray the perfect woman? What?
Just the family squabbles.
Yeah.
And these are some crazy cool blades too.
And you like these little machines?
I mean, this is what we need to see, like, Magneto use in X-Men, is like some spinning blades like this.
Oh my gosh! Don't even get me
That'd
started.
be crazy. So many underutilized, like, metal objects that could have been used for Havoc, but the bugs in the face.
Yeah,
it's gross.
I like how they do a good job of you're still able to see what's going on in front of Dash as he moves quickly.
Yeah.
Like, it's not blurring past, like, when they did that shot, and now we're kind of getting it from, like, like, we're in front of them now, but still, like, here, right now, like, that is just, it's well done. It is
well done, yeah.
I love Dash. He has a lot of these moments where he kind of lucks into a good thing, and he just kind of smirks, and he's like, yeah, that's what, like, the whole family kind of does that. Just seeing him moving out in the open like this is, oh boy. Like, I want to see an older Dash, but at the same time, Kid Dash is pretty wonderful.
Well, I mean, he's really not going that
Oh,
fast, though.
he's going very fast.
But I mean, for them to keep up, like,
Well, those things are crazy fast too, right? They're moving pretty quick.
yeah,
I like how he's
just
like a good
super
fighter.
punch. Oh, and just hits a kid, really?
Yeah, man, it's a kid. Here comes my favorite line, or one of my favorite lines that I say from time to time in the real world. Wait for it. I like how he says alive because he's just like, I am alive. Like,
You say that?
Yeah, I'll be like, I am alive. If something bad happens to me, I'm like, oh my god. So he's killing these people, right? In a way, Dash is like,
I mean, inadvertently, he's not,
Dash
meaning
is-
to cause harm.
he's racking up a kill count. Let's just be honest. I'm like, they're trying to kill him. Just like, oh, dude, just this little
Yeah.
giggle right here. Oh man, just like he's like, yep, can run on water. Like, oh, this whole sequence is so good. See, that's the thing about Dash's powers, like Elastigirl's a little bit, and maybe Violet's, but not as much. It's like they're so cinematic. Like specifically, this is like showing off the speed and the bedlam that can be caused with his powers alone. Now, apparently, Brad Bird had the voice actor for Dash run around and do laps and stuff, so he could have an actual kind of exhausted, panting flavor to his text, or like when he would speak and do voice acting. So when you hear him panting and kind of trying to catch his breath, that's because the actor was probably running around.
Oh.
There's some kid violence in this movie. These, and like she said, they're not gonna hesitate to kill you.
Yeah, they'll kill you.
I like that this guard is actually kind of competent. You know?
Yeah.
I love this moment too because even though he didn't like sleeping next to his sister and he thinks she's gross, I love he's like, "Don't touch my sister," because I would do the exact same thing. Don't touch my sister. Stay away from her.
And I mean, oh, there we get to see it fully realized.
Yeah, because she's saving him. It's so good.
I love how they use their powers together to like just
Make a
zoom
wrecking
away.
ball, dude. And like that's what
monkey ball.
that's what Fantastic Four was missing. Like they didn't like really do that until it was like the 11th hour. Like combine their powers in just smaller ways like this.
Yeah.
I love that we finally get them all together. And I know it's maybe like a little like kind of, oh really, like they'd all run into each other in the same forest, but and here we get a little taste of what the Pars can actually do when they're not holding back, like their combos and stuff. And oh, Mr. Incredible, man, don't mess with them. And they love each other. It's so beautiful. What I don't get is how the kids know to strike a pose. Like they're all just like, yeah, let's go. Like,
Yeah.
and like Dash uses like that. I'm like, what? Dash wouldn't think about that. It's so good though.
I mean, smart kid though.
Yeah. Maybe he wants to keep the 0-point energy for himself, but if he gave it to his guards, like, couldn't that just make like none of this happen? Right?
Sorry, I'm like, I forgot about this part that he catches him out. What did you say?
Oh, just like, why doesn't he give the 0-point energy to all the guards?
Oh, yeah. Too easy. Wouldn't make as good of a story.
That's true.
He's so kooky.
We
I like
love
how
the
they're all
speed.
back at the same place where they just...
Yeah, they just got out of. I mean, Bob got out of. And how they're connected to each other now too, like the steel, like where their arms are, like the electricity is connecting. I love this line right here. There's so many good lines. Wait for it. When everyone's super, no one will be. I think there's like,
I mean, that's a crazy plan.
but I get it, like, because he came from, he didn't have any superpowers and he wanted to be a superhero, and basically his favorite superhero was like, nope, not working with you, man. That's
okay,
great.
I love how that's split.
Oh, how the ship split apart.
Yeah.
This has got a very, I don't know if you call it like War of the Worlds vibe, but that's kind of what I get.
War of
like,
the World, very, very Death Star. Walking Death Stars.
Yeah. It's overall in the tanks. I like how Violet does this, and they're just kind of like, whatever.
Bounce.
But she probably thought about it a while ago and was like, I'm just gonna wait. You know? She's a pretty smart kid. This movie moves at a pretty good clip, I gotta admit. Like, I don't know, it's so good. I'm just gonna gush over this movie the whole time, it's great.
And, yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted, people that are watching this. Like, we're not Pixar fanboys.
No, I don't like I'll say I like or I'm okay with most Pixar films, but this is the one that I absolutely adore. Just because it's superheroes and I think it's well done, and I love the humans like aspect of it. And
I mean, I just get annoyed with like Planes and Planes 3 and Cars 5, and it's just like, come on.
I don't think Planes was Plane. Oh, just catch that. I don't know if Planes was Pixar or if it was Disney Animation Studios. I don't remember.
I think it was Pixar.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, like, not all of it's been gold. They had a really golden era for a while, and then they started doing some off stuff, and I honestly was never a big fan of, what was the Moana? Was that Pixar?
No, it's Disney Animation Studios. We talked about this.
Was it?
Yeah. You didn't like Moana?
Nah, I didn't like Moana.
Oh, get out of here. Moana's great. Away, away. Dude, so good. Thanks, Mirage.
Oh, Coco's Pixar.
Yeah, I still have to see that one.
Which
I've
is
yet to see it.
Very different for Disney, too. But
Well, remember, don't call it all Disney, because, I mean, it is technically Disney, but, like, Pixar might be,
yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen Coco, Levi?
I haven't, no.
Yeah. I hope we never get to see his wife. Because they kind of tease her again in the sequel. Frozon's wife. Like, I just don't ever want to... I want her to be a disembodied voice forever, always shouting at him.
Yep.
Like, I think that's such a way better way to do that. And it also cuts back on having to make a model for her. Like, I think just never show her.
That's funny, the subtitles say Honey. Like,
But-
that's her name is Honey.
Oh, just, yeah. I like they're trying to guess who he is, but he still uses the same, like, name as a villain. You know what I mean? Like, he told Bob that he was a bad guy, but even his heroics right there, it's just like, nope. Oh, gosh. Nowadays, like, there'd be so many cameras, people would be like, I think this guy is, like, controlling the robot. You know? Levi, this is why you don't put artificial intelligence
Nope.
in your Superbot.
And that's just funny that, like, everything's kind of backfiring on him.
Yeah. Just slams right into that wall. Another creative use of her powers, showing off how actually strong she is. Now that I think about it, like, she has to be incredibly strong to hold that together.
I mean, that's just nuts.
How are you doing, honey? Like, But again, they are a family that just happens to have superpowers. Like, they always talk to each other like a family would. You know, there's that dynamic that's always there, ever present. at the heart of this story, and
Yeah.
that is what makes this film. That is what other superhero family stories are desperately missing. And where they start to fight about driving to where they need to go is so great. Oh, man.
It's so funny. The traffic squabble.
So obviously the look is great, but like really got to give it to those voice actors for just like really nailing all of this, just like pitch perfect on tone and everything. And how they really mess up this RV, because it was at the beginning, it was like, or whatever, it was like a news communications van, and they just like they just wreck it, like, oh, super duper dad. They're like, thank goodness our kids are good sports. I love that what Bob, he has a hard time expressing his feelings, obviously, which is not something new for like a male protagonist, but I love that this whole like, he's saying I have to do this alone, and then what he tells her here about saying that he's not strong enough to do this, but that he just can't emotionally lose her again, because once the first time that happened, he broke apart and was ready to start killing people.
Yeah.
Like, I love that, where he's just like, I'm not strong enough to lose you. Like, it's like, oh my god, it's like so emotional and beautiful. It's like, I love it.
I guess I forgot like how limited screen time Sammy J really got in this film.
Well, he's a side character. He comes back. I love the stress that she just so worried the kids are about to die there right after she's like, we're superheroes. What's worse that could happen? I'm trying to think. This might be the best segment in the show. Or the best, like, fight action sequence. What do you think?
I honestly... Oh, I was gonna say, this is where it really picks up for me. Is, like, when they include Frozone. I just love freezing powers.
Yeah, ice powers are cool.
I think that's one of my favorite things about X-Men was, like, the Bobby and the freezing.
Yeah, except they kind of ruined him in X-Men 3.
I mean, they ruined him, but, like, his powers were cool in the first two films, yeah.
Ah, nice pun.
Oh, haha. Oh, just gets...
The only super right now...
that doesn't kill him, that's so crazy.
Yeah, he's the only one who could take that hit. Everyone else would be dead. You know what I mean? They'd all be dead. Maybe Elastigirl, I guess she could kind of bend with it, I should say, but everyone else...
And the dad football...
Which they alluded to earlier when he was playing with Dash. Like, it's so good, man. It's probably good that they kind of took the civilians out of here. I don't know if they did if they said there's like a mass exodus or something, because like, imagine them trying to save like 1,000 people during this fight. Somebody's dying. Oh, man. Using her powers with that sewer grate. I guess there are some cars out there, okay? People might be dying, man. And, like, do you notice
he's got to stay hydrated for this, you know?
You notice how his ice is a bit different? Like, he makes snow here, but also when he throws it down, it's a little more kind of... Like, I don't say fluffy, but, like, ice is usually... It has, like, a sheen to it.
Yeah.
And stuff, like, in movies, but I kind of like this one. I also love that you could tell that Frozone and Elastigirl have worked, like, there's definitely teamwork between some of them, like the seasoned veteran heroes for sure.
Trip itself.
Yeah, just them working together to take this thing down is just excellent. just hit buttons until whatever happens.
I'm fairly certain that would have taken out that whole building. But
yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Like, that thing is... Poor guy. Look at that.
itself.
Learning.
Yeah.
He's learning. You know, this kind of reminds me of Captain America Civil War a little bit. And not to be spoilery or anything, but this is like the biggest fight scene of the film. But it's not the last action thing. And the last action thing is like a big emotional thing more so. Which is kind of great because you wouldn't be able to top this action piece, you know, with something else at the end with a fight with Syndrome. So you change it, which I think is brilliant. Oh, this is so great. So stressful. So great. Boom.
Oh. Just wrecks it.
It's great stuff.
I thought the head, though, was more of like its control center.
No, it's the core, I think. Obviously, they're going to show that. But if you take the head off or whatever, then it can't really see you. So I just started coming out. Completely backfires. That's old school. I hope those guys come back.
No school like the old school.
But you're right, look at all those different types of people there. I mean, if you look at the ones in the background, they're not like the best, but they're still fine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's what I was talking about before, where she's listening to the messages and she's kind of hearing all this crazy stuff, and that's what's in the short. So if you look up the Jack Jack attack short, you can see Jack Jack attack the babysitter. Hey, you're wearing your hair back. See? I love it. Because they don't get a lot of time together, like Violet and Mr. Incredible.
Yeah, they don't. We're going to see
great.
more of that next
film.
film.
Yeah. Dude, that's going to be... Hopefully she'll be, like, dating or something, too. And he'll just be like, nope, you're not going to see this boy. Or something like, that'd be great.
I'm not fine. I love that.
Just descends into madness.
But your baby has special needs.
Yeah. And see, that right there with them pulling up to their house, I think is super great. Because you're just like, whoa. I have to show this again to my sister who just had a baby, because I keep making that joke. I'm like, shh, the baby's sleeping. Like, super creep.
And
I love it.
She doesn't get it.
Yeah, I was like, it's from Incredibles. Syndrome says it. He's like straight up Joker in this moment. Like, I wonder if they ever considered him getting away with the kid. Probably never, because that'd be such a dark way to end this. Again, another stressful scene, but you don't get to see... They don't get to see what he's capable of. Okay, so we've got the fire. We've got steel. We've got, like, Rage Monster, which is super great.
Oh, I forgot that you see the Rage Monster in this.
Yeah. I think they said that he's got 4 transformations. I forget what the...
It's so funny.
So good. Yeah, he's just gonna kill him. Like, he might have killed him if he was with him a little bit longer. But the thing that really gets me here is, you know, they set this all up, but that Bob is willing to throw away, and not that, like, this is a big thing, but, like, to throw away the thing that he used his first paycheck on, basically, is so great. It's like, he funded that. And this is such a dark ending, but villains don't often do well in Disney movies, so...
That's insane that he dies.
Look at Mahogany. The whole Helen parachute bit is one that does not get old to me.
Oh, good old Violet.
they're such a good team. Like, they're all pretty strong, but together they are like pretty invincible.
I'm really excited to see like a more cohesive, like, fighting and stuff like that in the next one.
Yeah. I think originally the group was going to be called the Invincibles, and the movie's going to be called the Invincibles, but they changed it, which is good because Invincibles sounds like what stakes are there if they're called the Invincibles.
Were they really going to call the Invincibles?
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, Dash.
Now again, back to just like regular life. So good. I love this ending bit. And look at Violet, completely kind of changed in what she's wearing and how she's acting. She's talking to somebody. Like a cool transformation for her character. You gotta watch out for this Tony guy, though. I bet it'd be so cool if he became a villain. Oh my gosh. What if he's the main villain, Levi? Incredibles 2.
I'd be like, well, that's weird.
She says this. I don't like this in movies where they'll say Friday movie, haven't specified location, the time, what's the film gonna be? Freaks me. Man, just
pull back. I love that.
And then I think there's one guy in the audience who's watching this. Yeah, he's like, "What are you guys doing?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
And he knows he can't win first place.
Yeah, because if he did it all the time, or if he won by like a very large margin, people would be like, "Okay, what the heck?" So this is where Incredibles 2 picks up.
Oh, really?
I believe so. Yeah, which is amazing, which I really like. I think that's cool because I wanted to see how this played out. And there's John Ratzenberger, the guy who's been in like every Pixar film.
It's so cliche, like.
And they're ready to go. I love it. All right, Levi, how does it hold up? Tell me.
So good.
What do you give it?
Classic.
Yeah, man, it's great.
I say 10 out of 10.
You say 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
I'm like at yeah. It's great. It's probably like a 9.5 for me, or 9. It's at least
9.5. No, for a Pixar
so
film,
good.
I'd say it's a 10 out of 10.
Well, for a Pixar film, yeah, but
yeah,
I'm kind of against Pixar. I mean, I'm not against Pixar. Pixar films, I feel like, just have a flow to them, and this one breaks that flow, which I appreciate. Levi, what should people tweet at us if they watched and listened to this whole thing? What should be the hashtag?
Incredibles 2 hype.
Incredibles 2 hype? Is that
yeah.
It? Okay, hashtag Incredibles 2 hype. Incredibles 2 hype. And if they want to tweet at us, you can tweet at me. I'm at JimmyGood013. If you want to tweet at Levi, you can tweet at
Levi Fletcher.
Perfect. Over on the Twitter machine. Levi, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it, pal.
Yeah, super fun. I love this movie.
And let us know, Legionnaires, if you want to see any more or listen to any more commentaries like this one. If you want to support us, you can subscribe here, over on Twitch, or donate to us on Patreon.com. But anyway, thank you for joining us, and we will see you for the next commentary. Bye, everybody.
See ya.